Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about startups I want other people to create. And so while we're doing this, if you watch the tech lead at all, he does these like coffee time things and they're pretty cool. And so I thought about doing a getting ready with me thing on my channel. So I'm using some lotion on my face, but these are startup ideas I've had, but they would either be too hard to implement because of the lack of underlying like infrastructure, or they're just things I want other people to create and I just want to use the product. You know, I'm one of the very rare people that like the 9-to-5. I like the boundary of that, and I'm very happy in my job. So these are things I think other people should make, and then I would be a customer, you see. The first idea, it's about running. And so I was training for a half marathon a while back using this thing. I was training for a half marathon a while back, and training's good when you're in the gym and you're on like a treadmill, right? So you can have your water there, you can have your snacks there. Maybe you're running like 8 to 10 miles and you're running and you can have your water. But when you're training outside, like in the actual like half marathon, you're running outside and there are stations where you can get water. And ideally you already have water like that you're carrying with you in one of those belts. And you know, they don't work for me either. My hips are not big enough, but they never, like, they always like right up. And it's like heavy. I don't want to carry a water bottle around, especially if I'm not like filling it up and it's just this really heavy weight at the beginning, because that's what it becomes. And so, but during the race, like, there's so many water stations that you usually don't have to deal with that. So this is a startup that is very much Amazon. Like, it's an Amazon, it could be an Amazon product, or it's a startup that gets acquired by Amazon, but they like kind of want to take over the world in every possible way, shape, and form of like how consumers consume products, and they haven't really entered the workout space. So anyways, the product would be, you know, when you're running and you're practicing and it's not the race yet, but you need to run outside to get like used to that. There should be like water stations, or if you could somehow invent a vending machine that could be solar powered or battery powered, and you only had to replace the battery every so often. But like after I run say 3 miles or 2 miles of my 8-mile run, I kind of want some water. And so there would be a companion app that would basically track my route, so that when I hit my 2 miles, there's like a water station, whether it's a vending machine or something else, something like that. And most people run with their phones, and so you'd be able to scan the app or whatever. You open the app, you scan it, and then you get like a water, a snack, or whatever, like that. It's been regimented for you on this run by some trainer that like designed the whole thing. It's like, I'm not the right person to design it because I'm not a trainer. I know nothing about fitness besides like my running, but it would be like a subscription model. So you would subscribe, not only like it would map your route to be around these like stations that exist, these vending machines that are like kind of in the middle of nowhere, because I don't want to like run into a convenience store when I'm on my 8-mile run. I don't want to run into a CVS and grab a water bottle, because that's your other alternative. You either carry it with you or you're buying it, and that process takes like a good 5 minutes. Like, I want something I can run up to and then scan my app, grab the water, and keep running. It would be great if a drone could deliver it to me. You know, I'm running and the drone, like as I'm running, the drone drops down the water bottle. But it would be a subscription in that, like, you get so many runs or so many water bottles, or, you know, like gel type, because there's like special like foods you eat when you're running. Maybe you pay 10 bucks a month and you get so many of those for the month, or 20 bucks a month. I don't know how much you would have to pay because of the, you know, how expensive is the machine that's holding the things, but you would need something that's like secure enough so when I swipe the thing, I grab it. So I swipe my little app barcode, I can grab the thing as I'm running. But that whole process of going into a store, waiting 5 minutes to buy a water bottle when I just want to keep running, or the other alternative of me carrying something with me, that needs to change. And it would be so easy for Amazon to acquire, because they kind of already have infrastructure. They already have all of these like warehouses that we don't know about. They're somewhere in the world that allow us to get things in 2/1 day. And the hard thing about this would also be the infrastructure, in the sense that you have to maintain these machines. But you've seen like other that are holding these like snacks and stuff, but you've seen other companies do it. Like you've seen City Bike and their little bike things. I think that's a part of Microsoft, and Microsoft, but I don't know, but like they have that infrastructure. You have the scooter infrastructure, and that requires a lot of VC money. And so then you have to spend all this time trying to get VC funding because your upfront cost is so high. Like you have to purchase all these things. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna open a shop on Etsy. Like you don't need VC funding for that, but for something that's a little bit more intense, yeah. So that's the first startup I feel like should be created, and I would be a subscriber. I would subscribe. It maps the run in my area. It would totally work in a city, like even Central Park, where there's no like, yes, there are CVS's around, but if you're running, like these little water stations in Central Park where I can go up, scan, water bottle drops down and I get it, or it's just something where I can fill my water bottles, and maybe it's a better, but then I have to carry the water bottle still. Like how do you make that sustainable? Because like now you're increasing plastic consumption. Well, people hate you for that. But that's the first idea that I would be a consumer of. Now the second idea is, now we're using this product, which I've had forever and don't really know what it is or what color it is, or I don't know. But the second product has to do with gift cards. And the fact that a gift card sucks. Like, you know, gift cards, like you get a gift card in your stocking, or for your birthday, or for, you know, some other event where people give gifts, some other holiday. And you know, you're like, okay, $25 Starbucks gift card, like that's cool, right? And I can get some Starbucks. You know, most people, they say this is a known Starbucks lover. You know, even in me giving the gift, you know, I'm like, I don't know what to get them. I'll get them the Starbucks gift card, whatever. It kind of sucks because you're just giving them money, right? But not only that, you're giving them money towards a given thing. So maybe they wouldn't usually spend their money on Starbucks. Now you're forcing them to spend money on Starbucks. And really what you want to get them is like 5 coffees from Starbucks. You want to get them 5 Frappuccinos, 5 of whatever their favorite drink is. And you know that drink is going to be between a $3 to $6 value depending on where you buy it from, what you get. Sometimes it can be $2 if you're just getting literally plain coffee. What size you get, is it a venti, is it a tall? But you know, when I get someone a gift card, I want to get them 5 coffees or 5 items from the store. Maybe it's 5 coffees, maybe it's 5 breakfast items if I know they don't drink coffee, 5 bagels from Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is. But I don't want to get them money, I want to get them the item. And I know in general, I know how much that item is going to cost. I know it's going to cost between like a set amount, or even a movie ticket. Now with Movie Pass and AMC A-List, it doesn't really matter. But like a movie ticket also kind of has the same price, whether it's like $12 or $20. It's not the exact same, but it's like a certain range. But I want to get them 5 coffees from Starbucks. I don't want to tell them you can only spend $25. You know, I know the end total might be between $25 and $35 for whatever they're buying, maybe. Or between $20 and $30. I just want you to get, you know, get whatever you want. And right now, like a gift card as the giver, it feels like a discount. Like I'm going to Starbucks, say I'm getting coffee for all my friends, and I just use your gift card as a discount. And you know, I don't want my gift to feel like a discount. Like that sucks. I want them to cover the whole thing, right? And as a giver, I would want, you know, if I'm giving someone a gift, I want to cover whatever the purchase is to the maximum, or at least cover like 5 coffees or something that's a little bit more like tangible, because money sucks, but like a tangible item, that feels more like a gift. So if you could create a platform, and this is also like a lot of startups are features, right? They're not real, they're products, but they're features, and then they get acquired. That's where a lot of money transacts. But if you could add this feature to where I can buy someone 7 coffees or whatever it is, and they kind of have these a little bit, like this buying model does exist. You can buy someone a month subscription to X, which is cool. And more people, I bet you could do the data and people would be more likely to give a month subscription to something than give them $15 to something. But that's a startup I want to be created, so I can give an item to someone versus a gift card. I want the gift cards to be extinct, both as a buyer and someone that's receiving the gift. But what the product would be if it was a startup is if you would have some kind of platform and people would buy gifts on your platform, and maybe you're the gift card of gift cards, and you would take, like, say you're getting 5 coffees to Starbucks, you would take, like, the person would pay a certain, they know that their gift is going to be between 25 and 35, but it wouldn't actually get taken out of your bank account until you until the other person like purchases it. So it would be like almost a hold maybe on your credit card or something, and the person has to like basically use it within a certain amount of time. So you'd be introducing that because the funds wouldn't be on the card or used until the person actually uses them, because you don't know how much time it's going to, or how much money it's going to be in the end. But you would basically charge, like, say a 2% fee, and that wouldn't get charged to the consumer, it would get charged to Starbucks, because you're adding a new distribution model to, like, or a new consumer model to their platform that they don't have to code and they don't have to deal with. They can just be like, this is another way you can buy our products, is through this gift idea. But again, getting that, you know, are there laws around that? Can you hold funds? Can you give that gift and assume that those like IDs will match? Can you give that gift and say, what if you don't have the funds in your bank account? Or is it more like a Venmo thing where you put a certain amount of money into it and then whatever gets spent, and then the rest returns to your bank account? So you get paid an upfront fee, but then you might get money back, or you won't. But yeah, what happens if you don't have the funds when the other person's trying to use their 5 coffees? Like, there are a bunch of questions there and how that would work. But financials, like, that's a tough subject just because there's so many legal things around that. And the fact you'd have to get all of the partnerships from the different companies, or maybe it's just you go to Starbucks and you be like, hey, I'll build you this platform as a contractor, give me this amount of money. Maybe it's a feature, like I was saying before, but that's another startup I would like, or feature I would like to exist. And then for the last startup, this is one that I have been interested in creating possibly for a while. But if someone else created it, I would use it because it's like an interesting idea, in that with everything going almost remote now, like there's still like a lot of jobs are not remote, but more and more, I think like 1/3 of the workforce works remote. Maybe that's a bad statistic, but I know at least 5%, 10% do. And then you have these ideas of WeWorks trying to build communities. What happens if you get relocated for your job? So say you have to move to a new place, a new city, and you know nothing about this city. Like you move to LA and you don't know about the Santa Monica Pier. Like it's a pretty touristy spot, you don't really know the history of your city, but you have to move there because of your job. Or maybe you just want to move there. Maybe you are interested in LA and you want to move to LA. You know, how do you meet people? There are things like meetup.com, maybe you have friends here, of course there's the Tinder, all of that, but you know, how do you meet people? Maybe you go to a workout class, like there's tons of blogs and tips and tricks on what to do when you're moving to a new city, but there's no experience where you can go in and meet other people that have just moved to the city as well, and not only that, but live close to you. I recently went on this thing, I've been going on these trips with like EF College Break or EF Ultimate Break, and they're pretty fun. But the people that I meet, and they're like abroad trips, and so you sign up, you get a group of people together, you go, and you explore. Like recently I did Japan, a ton of amazing people there, not only in Japan, but like as part of the tour group. And 2 of them lived in DC, a few lived in California, but they're so far away that it's like San Francisco and I live in LA. It doesn't make sense, but there's no experience yet that's like, hey, you just moved to the city, go on this 4-day retreat where you meet people that have just moved to the area and are living around you. So they're living near you, and you're gonna meet these people. And then there's also like monthly events that you go to. So maybe a monthly happy hour where you get 2 drinks free, and that's included. And so if you say you didn't like anyone on the 4-day trip you went on to explore your city and the history of your city, then you go to these happy hour events, and it continues that journey of you learning about your city, about new things that are happening. Maybe if it's a San Francisco thing, new tech that's evolved. But a solution to that is with co-living spaces. And so sometimes you'll go to, like, if you don't want to just get a random roommate off of Craigslist, maybe you go to a Common or an Ollie or Quarters, and these are all companies that do like co-living type situations where you get your own room, but you share like a kitchen, but it's a nice kitchen, and maybe you don't have to clean because there's cleaning services every week. It's like part of the deal. Maybe you don't have to furnish it as well. So if you move a lot, like that's a perk. You know, the low end of that is the pod, but you know, that is a really quick way, and it's often a lot of ways that new people get settled into new cities, and that's a way to do it. But is it the best way to do it? Is it better? Because there's going to be a point where you don't want to do co-living, and then how do you meet people and get settled and understand the city and learn really the history about your city? Because I've like visited a lot of places in LA, but I'm sure there's a ton of things I don't know. So to be able to go on a tour, meet a bunch of people that live near you, make friends essentially, and then also understand your city and explore your city, understand where the popular places to go out and that sort of thing. I think it could be an interesting. I would be a customer. I mean, I've moved like 4 times in the past because of work. Maybe 2, 3. It'll be 4 by the end of this year, but like that would be useful. And it could be an interesting thing, especially with everyone becoming remote and people like wanting to live new places but afraid to leave their communities. And it could also be a reason like why maybe there's a cool new job that someone's afraid to move to a new city. It would be a way to alleviate that. And the way it could really make business is if you partnered with the tech companies and you partnered with enterprise and big companies and said, hey, make this a part of your relocation package. And then the consumer doesn't even pay for it. It's actually really interesting because a lot of companies that are successful are the ones we don't hear about. Like there are a lot of companies that are business to business, B2B, so they work between businesses and don't even touch the consumer. They're just a business that works with the business. They don't touch, like, and one really interesting one is Lumi, which I really like. And Lumi, basically all of those, with all the e-commerce businesses coming up with Stitch Fix, I hope they're a customer of them, maybe not, FabFitFun, Care of, Hubble, there are other ones too, but with all of those coming up, who creates those weird boxes to make it most efficient and to have that nice unboxing experience? It's this company, Lumi, and it's really interesting on how they create the boxes and really form that experience of e-commerce shopping, and so it feels like an at-home, or it feels really special when you open the box. Like Lumi's the one creating these boxes, and they're working directly with the businesses, and so it's not like that company that's making the box, it's this other company, Lumi, that is a vendor of the main company, say FabFitFun or Care of or Hubble. And it really, and that forms so much of the experience of you receiving the package, if you will. And so a lot of these companies that you think are producing these products are really just overlays and a combination of a bunch of vendors to then deliver you this service. And so figuring out how you can be one of those vendors and work with a bunch of those different bigger companies that have created this brand is another way to another really interesting startup too is Active. And they would be really good ones also to develop the first product I was talking about, where it's like some kind of vending machine so that it's all on your run. You can go on the go grab water or grab like some kind of snack to keep you running for those longer mileage distances or longer workouts, but they do audio enhanced workouts. And so you put on your headphones and you listen to this workout and do the things that they tell you to do. And I've been using it a lot for running, and it's helpful. It's a way to kind of get a class but in audio form. And it's kind of interesting. I'll put a link down below. But that's another interesting one because it was a way of essentially creating like Spotify but for workout classes. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I'm like halfway ready, but that's it. My name is Catherine. Thank you so much for watching, and happy coding.